listening to VTSR Podcast. This podcast aims to help others with transition, resources, and mental health struggles. All right, everyone, welcome back to VTSR, Veterans Transition Support Weekend Show. Today here we got Tank, and we're going to be talking about burn pit exposure and other things. So we're going to jump right into it. We got Mike on the other side. He's going to be with me tonight as well. And Tank, welcome to the show. And please tell us about burn pit exposure, how did it affect you?
Yeah, thanks, JP, and thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. So I served in the Marine Corps, and during that period, we were deployed to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, on a training exercise out there. And during that period, I was put in a weapons platoon, Lehman Company. So we basically just doing training every single day, live fire, we had burn pits there, where we were at in the base and on the training area. So like when we were getting out of the AVs, the vehicles, like the mountain and the pit was right there. All the smoke was right there. We had I didn't know. I mean, at the time, I'm 19 years old. I just see a pit with fire, you know what I'm saying? With fire being burned and things being burned there, ammunition, feces, everything, you name it, everything, all the disposable shit you can think of was thrown in there with jet fuel and other types of fuels, and this is Qatar, Saudi Arabia. So they have a lot of that, so a lot of fuel. And basically, I just did my training. Now, my team is a weapons team. You guys familiar with that, 4-man team mostly. 2 of our guys got really sick, and for the time that we were there, they didn't do any training. They were back in the barracks throwing up and having diarrhea and having all kinds of issues. We had a group that had to get full, what is it called? Help me with some words, but, full gas mask suit on,
mop gear.
Yep, mop gear. And they would sleep with us. They would come in with the mop gear, take it off with us, and they will go out and deal with those burn pits as well. And so anyway, so that was my time there. I actually got a commendation for it because it was a 4-man team and I was the ammo, gun guy, everything. I was like two men in one, so just get out AVs with the whole thing. I got pictures of it and just ran. It was an M240 Golf. So and so that's what I did. So it didn't hit me, like I said, this is like 1996, 1995, and then so now we come to the future, and I'm not feeling good. I was doing really well, training wise. I got really good in shape after the tactical training. After the last time you saw me, the tactical games, I was getting in shape. I was getting better. So I got into.
Yeah, I mean, you were killing it.
Yeah,
you look incredible, bro.
You were killing it when you're training for that.
Yeah, well, I was getting better. I was not, I was not best on anybody, but I was
we never are.
I was moving forward. Getting better. And so I got into jiu-jitsu and I loved it. I was doing I was going to rolling six times a week. Got to a point where I was doing, 5 minute for like 30 minutes, man. And I was just like, okay, what's next? I was in really good shape. And all of a sudden, man, I got hit with COVID. And that was tough, 2 weeks, and then after that, I wasn't feeling too good. I couldn't breathe. I was having problems breathing. I couldn't do only 5 minutes, 5 minutes in the row training. And I thought I was just being a pussy. I thought I was being weak. So I started pushing myself even more. Started going up, putting a 25-pound vest, running up hills, just trying to push myself. I was like, and then my heart felt like I was like coming out of my chest. And eventually it was so bad, man. Like I had one time I was running 114 fever. All of a sudden it just hit me. Like I'm in my house, it's 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of a sudden I'm like this, in my bed, and I don't know what's wrong with me, and I'm running 114 fever, and all of a sudden, like 3-4 hours later, I'm fine, you know. Um, and so there's something wrong with me, and I hate the hospital. I hate going to the hospital. I hate dealing with doctors. So it got to a point, man, where my heart was like about to pound my chest. It got to a point where it was so bad, I just couldn't move. We couldn't deal with another second. So I went to the VA and emergency, and they checked on me, and they what do you call it? They checked my blood, and they looked at everywhere on me, and they're like, "Are you bleeding? Are you bleeding anywhere?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." It's like, "Well, you looks like you're bleeding because your hemoglobin was 2.0." So my hemoglobin was 2.0, man. And they say, I don't know why, you could be having a stroke right now, so they gave me 2 pints of blood. And I was seen by 8 doctors. Now it's funny, the VA is different than any other hospital, right? So you guys might not be familiar. You guys might be familiar. I'm just going to tell you my experience. I was seen by 8 different doctors, okay? They wanted to do a colonoscopy, endoscopy. I mean, everyone wanted to poke me, until one doctor, Dr. Sajad, and you're going to hear funny story about the poking part, but Dr. Sajad from the, what do you call it? Anyways, from the area, the department that deals with cancer, leukemia, comes in. She goes, I think we should do a bone marrow biopsy. And I said, okay, sounds good. And so the next day, the following day, they put me on the table and they sent me out, and they explained to me what's going to happen. They said, we're going to numb the area, and we're going to, do the procedure, and we're going to remove bone marrow from your bone marrow. You're gonna feel this. You're gonna feel pull. You're gonna feel, you're gonna hear the drilling you, all these things, but you're not gonna feel anything. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. Now,
Sure, that's what they always say, right? You won't feel anything.
man,
Don't worry. It don't hurt. Not to you.
Oh, you don't want to hear what I went through, man. So these guys are joking around, like around me. They're just talking about bullshitting, like they're talking about, oh, last weekend, where'd you go? Oh, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm getting prepared. I'm on the table, and I hear the drill go on. And then 5 seconds later, I feel this like stab and literally drill going through me, and I fucking yell, man. I freaked the fuck out. I was like, ah! They were like, oh, it's okay. It's like they forgot to give me the numb shots, man. They forgot to give me the numb medicine. And
you gotta be kidding me, bro.
That's one thing they did wrong.
I passed out, bro. I like passed out, dude. And
I
shit. Was up in sweat, cold sweat, and then then the numb area. But I was like already like, freaked out because I was already numb,
Yeah, it's already in your head anyway.
Yeah, it's already in my head, and and I'm shaking and stuff, and like, oh, we're gonna take care of you now. I'm so sorry.
You should stop BSing and start paying attention to what you're doing.
So there you go.
So I was doing a TikTok, so I forgot. I was doing my TikTok and I forgot to put your numb medication. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened, man. So so that was that. Food was terrible. I mean, food was, oh my God, nasty. It's worse than food. Eddie, I don't know if you met Eddie Rangi. He does a lot of training with Boone. He flew down to see me the whole time. So he would bring me Chick-fil-A. He's like, "What you want?" Chick-fil-A, bring me whatever, because I mean the food was nasty, bro. I mean, I can't explain to you.
Is it worse than sea rats?
So I'm like, freaking disgusting. I mean, if you give rats or MREs, it would have been better. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how veterans would have to eat that crap, man. So
Stick to the Jello. Stick to the Jello.
yeah. So while I'm waiting for this, for the results, this doctor walks in. I'm inside. Inside the doctor. I'm staying inside the hospital. I'm staying there, and I'm in my bed, my room. This doctor comes in, young doctor, right? And he comes in. He's like, I am so and so, and I am in charge of the colonoscopy, department or colonoscopy area. And he puts his hand on my leg, and he says, we should do a test. I just need to verify that you're not bleeding externally, and what I need to do is check your butthole, and I'm already been checked. This already has happened. I already been checked. He's like, well, it's only going to take a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing censored on this podcast.
So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Going in.
At this point, like, I'm like, whatever, man. Like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to poke. I'm not going to do anything. I just want to check. I'm like, so fine. I'm like, okay, whatever,
Grab your knees.
Like, check my butthole. And then he's like, okay, go, you're, and,
I love it.
And
I'm sorry, man.
So listen, he leaves, right? And when he leaves, I stand there for 5 minutes and feel violated. Feel like, something
you spent too much time back there.
Something should have happened, like this is not normal, So I and talk to the who's actually a Navy veteran, and I say, hey man,
for Navy, no. No offense.
Questions, did he smack your ass and say good game? That's all.
Right. Right. Actually, so I look at him and I go, well, I go, hey man, do you know who just walked in here? Like, who, that doctor just walked in? Like, oh man, like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, this guy just walked into my room.
Check your butthole.
And like he said he was a doctor, this and that, and you don't know who he was? Because unless they put notes in the system, I don't know who walked in. So I'm the fuck is going on here?
Are you freaking serious?
This is, bro, I'm serious. This is VA.
I gotta go and practice medicine at the VA tomorrow. I gotta check that out.
So
just wear a white coat.
So basically, you can, like you can just put a suit on, like a thing like a doctor, and walk around. You know what I'm saying? Check people's butthole, and nobody's gonna say.
I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, dude, bro.
Only veterans would laugh at this shit. I'm sorry.
Pretty fucking weird, man.
Man,
that is messed up.
So
well, you know what is crazy about that, Tank, before you continue, is that I know you were coming to North Carolina prior to that because you were doing the 222-mile rock mile with us the whole 10 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I remember you were excited. You're like, bro, I'm coming, I'm driving, this and that. And all of a sudden, like, you didn't reply for like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, okay, you know what? Something is going wrong with Tank. And then when I call you, you're like, bro, you're not going to believe this. Yeah. I'm at the VA. And I got no idea what I got.
All right, this next 222 needs to go well because first it was JP, then it was Tank. So we got to like.
Yeah, that is true.
I met this beautiful woman during that period, and I told her about what I was doing, and she actually donated like $1,000. And not, it doesn't matter, but she loves things like that for veteran groups. She actually donated to your.
Oh, nice.
Well,
thank you, there, beautiful woman.
Yeah, awesome, man. So anyway, we're gonna be watching the podcast. But yeah, man. What's next? What you want me to keep going? I lost.
Yeah. So before we continue, Mike, I know that you. I mean, we both, all three of us, deployed to shitty places with no septic tanks or anything like that. Mike, from Afghanistan, Iraq, but with Haiti.
Yeah.
But with places like that, Mike, that you know of, do you know anyone personally who have suffered from the same thing that Tang has? Because I haven't. I haven't met. Tang is the first person.
Not yet, because I mean, he said back in like 95, 96, I kind of smirked because I mean, I graduated high school in 94. So, I mean, that was like really at the beginning and really the only thing. But I say Afghanistan because I mean, I was obviously fifth group. So I spent a lot of time in Iraq. Most of my time was in Iraq, but my one trip to Afghanistan, going into an ODA base camp, and we were the second team. So, I mean, as a Charlie, I got to help finalize the base camp. But anyways, that was our primary means of getting rid of feces. And we were doing that joint mission with the Jordanians. So we had Jordos with us. And that was the only thing where we can get rid of. I mean, they had their own latrines or bathrooms, but we worked on getting the septic tanks worked out. But as far as like trash and stuff, it was still being burned on the camp. So, I mean, I had a little bit of, I guess, exposure to it, but I at that time, that was circa 2000, not late 2009. So I think some of the effects were kind of already circulating out there. So a lot of us definitely stayed out of that, and we kind of made the locals do it for us.
Early 2002, we had in Afghanistan, we had the locals do it for us, but they were doing it in our area anyways, right?
We're still inhaling it, yeah.
Yeah, we're walking by it, or we're bringing trash to the pit, or whatever it is. And but
Charlie, trash duty.
Yeah, but I honestly have not met anyone until Tank that have suffered from burn pit exposure.
No, I follow groups like Hunter 7 Foundation, and they talk about that shit all the time. And every time they bring it up in their posts and stuff like that, I keep flashing back to my one trip to Afghanistan and those burn pits, and I pray that I don't end up with any of those symptoms.
So these questions that I ask you, Mike, on what I just said about me not knowing anyone are for a reason, because actually Tank gave me a while back some useful information that I didn't know about. Tank, you said that it takes some time. There's an average time for the effects of burn pits to actually show in your bone marrow.
Right. So, first of all, you guys got to look at the list of symptoms that come from being exposed to burn pits. I'm telling you, dude, it's like 50 things, 15 things.
If alcoholism is one, then I got it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Being crazy Puerto Rican right there, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Number one.
You
guys are screwed.
What you call it?
White privilege.
Dying about this illness. What you call it? No, there's like 50. There's like 50 things that, and before, just so you know, before I was actually diagnosed with this, I already had symptoms. Like, for example, I get these blisters in my skin. I started having that about 5-6 years ago in my face, blisters that pop up.
Wow.
And I kept thinking, first of all, I thought at the time that I had some type of like STD or some shit. I was like, man, what the fuck did I get this shit from, right? So I went to the VA and I went to dermatologists and whatnot and got, first the VA was like, I don't know what's wrong with you, right? Well, when you look at the symptoms of being exposed to burn pits, that's one of the symptoms.
Oh, wow.
It's skin blisters, right? That's one. The second one was problem breathing, sleep apnea, just having problems with your breathing, having problems with your heartbeat. And I started having that problem 5 years ago. I went to the VA and I got that checked and everything. Just so you know, I am already service connected. When this happened, I'm already 100% service connected by the military for accidents that had happened. Now, I got out of the Marine. Right. I got out of the Marine Corps honorably discharged. I didn't get out with a medical or nothing like that. I finished my 4 years and did everything right. But it was in my record. So in my record, my medical record said, what happened here, what happened here, blah, blah, blah. They gave me my service connection. But when I went to the VA so anyways, I go home the next day. It was Thursday, I got a burn pit. I got the bone marrow biopsy. On Friday, I go home. And I'm fine. I just got 2 pints of blood. I feel pretty good. I'm good to go. I feel kind of good. I feel better than I felt like the last 3 months. On Sunday, I get a call from the doctor, Dr. Sajad, and she's panicking on the phone. She goes, Mr. Ferran, you have to go to the hospital. You have to go to emergency right now. You know, da, 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 da. And she tried to call me twice, and all I got voicemail. She goes, if you try to call me, I'm out of here. I won't be back till Monday to the hospital. But go to the hospital, go to emergency. And I started feeling like shit. By the time I listened to the voicemail, I started feeling like crap again, worse. So I told my daughter to take me back to VA emergency, and went back there. They gave me another pint of blood. My blood was back down to like 7, whatever. The following day, I meet with Dr. Sajat. That's when she asked me one question. She said, were you in this country, were you exposed to burn pits? And I said, yes, you know. And she's like, it takes 20 some years for it to actually expose, for your DNA to be mutated for some type of cancer. So it takes 20 plus years for your DNA to mutate, for example, for me, and mutated to leukemia. You know what I'm saying? So, so anyways, there's that. One of the great things that the VA did that, and just so you know, that doctor is not with the VA anymore. So
Good.
Good ones leave.
Yeah,
I'm fired.
The good ones leave, right? So this doctor,
Yeah.
life, bro. She saved my life. She said,
Wow.
I'm not going to keep you here. I'm going to send you to the best hospital money can buy. I'm going to send you to the hospital where I trained from, which is the Moffitt Hospital in Tampa. And it's going to be a civilian hospital. And I'm going to send you there for treatment. And you're going to leave in the next couple of days. And I'm like, thank God, you know, but the other outcome would have been for me to be sent to Nashville, Tennessee. You know, that's where the VA has their own cancer treatment center. You know, supposedly they say it's good, but
they'll probably give you cancer instead of curing it.
Actually, I've heard good stuff about out there in Nashville.
Yeah, so,
I mean,
okay, I'll take it back.
They say it's good, but you know, if I had to take a choice between civilian hospital and so
stay in Florida.
Yeah, so and in plus, exactly, stay in Florida. So
Free state.
I get sent there, and they put a port, just so you know, before they sent me. One of the mistakes the VA did was put a port in my chest, which I still have, and I'll tell you a story at the end about that. But I still have a port in my chest,
wow.
And they sent me there, and the port not being external. So the first day I went there, I'm thinking, you know, is the civilian hospital, everything's good. I have to, you know, I get it. The nurse comes in, you know, she tells me who she is, blah, 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 because we're going to have to access your port. This 12 o'clock at night, 12:30, I get to they transfer me to the hospital about that time. That's how long it took for me to be transferred. And I get there at 12:30, and they're going to access the port. Well, let me go back. She put a line on my vein, on my arm. And this is where I knew something was up, because she's trying to take my line out, and she started shaking. She started shaking in my hand, in my arm, and I'm like, you know, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, is that supposed to be like that? And she pulls the needle without putting pressure on it, so it goes, I mean, all over the bed. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, this is her first time. She'd never done this before. You know, whatever.
E3 in the Army, fresh out of school.
Right.
Yeah.
Then she tells me I have to get a COVID test. But the COVID test is the anal COVID test. She's got it.
Here we go again.
And this time, man, let me explain to you, man. It was bad, right? So, she says, you know, they gotta swab my anus for the COVID. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why you gotta swab my anus? Like, well, we gotta do this every 2 weeks. You know, we gotta swab your anus. And the team that works with me as a patient is a nurse and a tech, right? The tech is a flamboyant black dude. It's like 6'3", like completely fruitcake, bro. Like, he's like, hello, my name's Frank. Like Tyrone. No, his name was Tyrone, bro. I couldn't believe it, man.
So you were like, hey.
Yeah.
No, the worst part is like
What-
I am the one.
Bro,
I am the one sticking my finger in you.
I'm making stuff up for the podcast. This is real. This is real shit that I went through, man. I swear
Yeah.
to you, I could believe it. You know, this is what a shit. And so she's like, you know, do you want me to do it or do you want Tyrone to do it? And I'm like, I want you to do it. You know, and this is what my mistake. If I would have had Tyrone do it, might have been so bad. But I
do it. Man, he's a pro.
Hey, you know,
Sorry, no,
he had
my
no
bad.
experience. He had no experience how to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you wanted Tyrone to do it because he didn't know how to do it.
You just didn't feel comfortable with a man doing it, you know. It's understandable, right?
No.
It's just
Tyrone dude, he looked more experienced doing it, you know. So anyway, so I said, no, you're gonna do it. So she's like, so she make it out because it's obvious. I have a problem with him doing it, you know, because he's the dude, but more importantly because he's gay. But she's like, do you have a problem with, you know? I was like, so she's trying to make it out because he was gay, and I didn't want to go into that. So I said, look, I have a problem with it. I just want you to do it. You know, I want you to do it. I don't want him to do it. That's it. Final. So she's like, okay, fine. So we go ahead and do it, bro.
It doesn't. For her, it really shouldn't fucking matter. I mean, it's your choice.
Right.
Preference, no preference. Whether I mean,
right.
It's the way it is. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
She sticks. This is a stick like this. She sticks half of that stick out my ass, bro.
Like Q-tip.
Like the Q-tip out my ass. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, okay, she got to stop. What was that?
Just trying to tickle the prostate.
Right. So I'm going to jump a little bit because you guys got to hear the point of the story. The following day, I talked to a nurse who's been there for a long time. You know what she tells me? I told her what I kind of asked her. I said, you know, this happened to me. Is this how you guys do it? She goes, what? She goes, what? She goes, no, that's not. That's not how it's supposed to. That's not how it's supposed to be done. It's to only swab outside the anus. Like all she needs to do is swab outside the anus, not enter you. Like, bro. So I said, you know what? I don't want this nurse ever again. I don't want the nurse. I don't want the tech. I don't want none of these people ever again to take care of me while I'm here. So that was my first. But I'm not done yet.
Maybe you should have gone to Nashville.
Maybe should have gone Nashville. So then my port had to be entered in my port had to be used, and it had not been used. Although VA only put it in and it hasn't been used. So again, she has no idea how to use it. The VA sent instructions. Or she's gone, like shaking. She's gone for 3 hours, bro. It's 3:00 in the morning. She still can't figure out, like what to do. So she finally says, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And she brings another older nurse with her. And I'm sitting this. I'm laying in the bed, like inclined, like this. One nurse is here, one nurse is here. They got the chest. They got this needle. It's like this big, right? And, she's got to pour it to clean it up, all cleaned up and everything. And she's like about to, enter the port. And she enters it. I mean, that shit hurt, man. It was like stabbing, like, you're getting stabbed in your chest. And then she started pushing liquid through it. Liquid was being put through, but she couldn't extract blood. So she's like, it's pushing blood, it's pushing liquid, but you can't extract your blood. I don't know what to do. So she's standing there like this with a needle and everything, And the other nurse is like, he goes, well, and then for like 5 minutes, I hear total silence. They're just looking at me. I'm just standing there like, okay, what's going on?
The experts.
Finally, I go, what's going on? She goes, well, I can't extract blood, And I was like, well, find somebody who can. She's like, well, I can't move. I can't leave this tension. I can't move. I'm like, oh, serious, man. So finally, the other nurse leaves, finds this girl named Amanda, who's well experienced. She comes in, sees the situation. I realize that she knows what she's doing, and she says, well, we can wait till tomorrow. to access the port again, or we can do it, or you can let me do it one more time. Try one more time. I said, okay, fine. I'll let you do
I
it.
got a question. Before she tried to access the port the first time, did she push some saline in first, or she didn't?
Yeah, she put saline. That's the liquid. The saline stuff.
Okay.
They said,
Because normally that's how you clear the line and you clear everything before you start pushing stuff.
saline went through, but she couldn't. When she try to extract blood, she couldn't extract blood. So she kicks everybody out of the room. She's like, get out. And then finally, she does it. She goes, high speed, low drag, draws blood, all good to go, all squared away. Boom. That was my first night there. And then after that, the whole adventure of chemo, it was pretty awful.
So you're still bald,
huh?
So you're still bald.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was bald when I walked in, but this, this time I can't grow any beard, so my beard is gone. I used to grow a beard like yours, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't grow any beard. There's no.
It makes you look younger, man. It makes you look younger.
Yeah, my balls are. I don't have to shave everything. All my hair and my body's gone, bro. So,
well, you're gonna save money in some razors, though.
Yeah, it's been
aside from the beard, I'm jealous. So
yeah, chemo fucks you up, bro. Like I still have chemo, man. I still got chemo running through me, man.
So question. So you're in the hospital. You started getting chemo. I know that when you started getting chemo, I know you started a campaign to get funds. Because you were gonna need care after that, right? You had to stay close to the hospital, which is not close to your house, so you had to pay for lodging or rent or whatever. And plus, of course, you gotta eat and all that stuff, and a nurse. So how did that work out? Did a lot of people show support for that?
I gotta tell you, man, I've been blessed, bro. Like I'm one of the luckiest guys you could probably meet, one of the most blessed person that you could meet. Many people came in support. A lot of different nonprofit organizations, TIG, everybody, man, just a lot of support, man. Wheel Warriors, man, they did an amazing event. They added me to their event. They raised a bunch of money for me. I mean, all total, you need about $60,000, man.
It's not cheap, huh?
No, it's not cheap at all. And that's because that's if you want to, you got 100 days that you got to stay 20 miles near the hospital. You got to live 20 miles near the hospital in case you get this. They call this infection you could get. Which is very normal, to get this infection. A lot of people get it. 50% of the patients get it after bone marrow transplant, and you could die from it. So in it, you get a fever, you're not feeling good. You have to go to the doctor right away because you only got like 12 hours, 16 hours to make it. Is that crucial? Because the infection starts attacking your organs. What happens is that your old immune system, right, starts working, and you want that old immune system to be suppressed. You want the new immune system to start working instead. So what happens is when that happens, it starts attacking your organs, your liver, your whatever. And once you get one of those infections somewhere, you're done. You know what I'm saying? You're pretty much, good luck, man. There's nothing they can do for you. That's it. You're done. So anyway, yeah, it's like playing, Russian roulette. But so you got to be in a place where, like hotel, for example. If you had no money, if I didn't have the help that I got, I would have had to stay in some cheap hotel, to live my 100 days. We would have been exposed to a lot of bacteria, a lot of people coming in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been in a really bad area, for my recovery. And most patients went through that, got COVID, got infections, were, get into really bad shape. So I got to tell you, man, like, I can't say enough thanks to everybody who helped me, supported me. And, and at the same time, I feel guilty because there's a lot of veterans who don't have the same, I guess, following and people supporting them as I do. And those veterans are not going to get this thing. And for example, and the VA pays, they know what you're going through. They know how much it's going to cost. They only pay 10% of that. 3%
How much?
of that. If, listen, and the BS that a veteran has to go through to get the expenses paid, they got to go online. They got to enter 3 websites. Go to 3 websites. They got to scan all the receipts, everything to them, all the hotels, everything to them, and then wait months. I'm talking about 3-6 months, maybe a year for them to get paid 3% of those expenses. They only pay for me. They agreed to pay $69, $60-some for lodging a day. Okay, think about that: $60-some lodging per day, and $29 for food per day. That is it. And 35. I think it's like 30, $20, something like that for gas back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're staying at. But when
that's less than Fayetteville per diem rates.
When you look at the inflation, you look at how much money food costs, and you got to eat.
Yeah.
You got to eat good, because you can't. Here's the thing: they give you a list of things you can't eat. You can't eat deli. You can't eat fast food. You can't. Like, think about it: $29 a day. You can't eat fast food. You can't eat this. So you got to eat everything fresh. Everything has to be like cooked at home. That type of thing. So I am telling you, I'm blessed, man. I am so blessed, bro. Like, I could not have gone through this without the help of the support of the community.
What is one organization that you think that, I know you got a lot, but one that you think that goes like, oh man, they got me started. They kicked it off for everybody else.
What do you mean?
Like, to help you and to give you the support that you needed.
I think at the end, Wheels for Warriors, the take and foundation that he promotes, as well as Ryan, the country singer.
Yep.
That nonprofit did the most for my cause. They raised $11,000.
That is amazing.
Yeah, they raised $11,000. And I, but the rest of the funds came from the people, from support from people, from different communities, different groups. And I can tell you, man, I couldn't have done it, man. I would have been some really tough time, because you are expected to pay your own bills. You're expected to pay your own house. I can't just just break my lease, break my mortgage. It's just like just say, okay, well, I'm gonna move somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You still got your own life somewhere else, and now you're gonna have to have a life somewhere else, that new expenses, new bills, new everything. And so what that gave me the freedom opportunity to find a AR&B close by, 20 minutes away, where I was able to stay in there, clean, real close by, stores, grocery stores nearby, very close by. Everything was close by. It was perfect, you know what I'm saying, for me and my girl. Oh, the other thing you need, all right, more importantly, is care. So you need nursing care. The VA does not even give you the funds, does not even give you the expenses to pay for somebody to take care. You need 24/7 care. So unless you have your wife, your girl, somebody that loves you very much, which I did. Like I said, I'm blessed, man. Like my girl, Michelle, she took care of me, brother. Cleaned the house every day, bro. She breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bro. She made sure that the port that I had on my chest, that it has to be cleaned every single day. So
yeah, you got to be purged and clean. Yeah.
Yeah. So the procedure, guys, we do, bro. You need somebody to take care of you very, very well for those 100 days, man. And I'm blessed, bro. But like I said, the VA, they say if you're a single guy, normal guy with very small family unit, very little support in that matter, no nonprofit organization was able to help me with that idea before I was able to find, like my significant other come in and help me. they'll just forward me somewhere else because they didn't have those resources. There is no resources. The VA does not give you a nurse to take care of you for 24/7, and neither did the Moffitt Hospital. The Moffitt Hospital doesn't do that either. So,
that's crazy that you go to the VA refers you to this other hospital. It's service connected. They know that this is due to service connected, illness, and they still don't pay for all of the treatment. If I'm going to share something here for the ones that actually can see this at home. This is the VA website that talks about the airborne hazard and burn pit exposures. And if you go through this, it gives you a lot of symptoms, right? Or actually not symptoms, but conditions that can come from that. And there's a lot of them. I mean, you start reading this thing, there's so many of them. But one of the important things is that it tells you that you can register, right? They got a registry for burn pit exposure. But what is really important here is that it says right here, participation in the registry does not mean that you're applying for a VA disability benefit or health care. To apply for VA disability compensation, please go to compensation, whatever. And this is the one thing that the VA system needs to fix. One, you shouldn't have to go in no website or 3 different websites, upload receipts, and go through all that when you are going through chemotherapy, right? They should assign a case manager that comes to you and tells you, what do you have? Let me get that. Let me submit this for you.
100%.
We're gonna get you paid. All right. And the other thing is, no veteran should have to apply for benefits that the VA and the military already know that you suffer from something due to your service connection stuff. I shouldn't have to apply for it. It should be given to me immediately.
Well, this segment needs to go freaking viral and freaking make people notice.
Yeah. So let me go back a little bit. So they did put me as social services person. Her name was Kate. Okay. She was so all these social services that work for the VA, they do care, but they're strapped. It's like they given a job, the worst job they could be given, right? And they know their hands are tied, so they're
equipped.
Yeah, they'll So I've had 2 social services during this period that have tried to help me. First of all, I'm a new case. The VA is like, Dr. Sajad, I don't know what happened, but I'm like new one of the new guys that are being sent outside the VA to a civilian hospital to be saved from cancer. Now, here's the other thing. This is what I mean by the VA. VA is socialist healthcare for veterans. That's what it is. It's if you say I hate communism, I hate socialism, well, guess what? The VA is socialist healthcare for veterans, right? They have a board, and the board decides who lives or dies. And I'm going to explain to you how that works. When they told me this. They said, you're young, we can save you. That's what they said. So if I would have been like 55, 58, maybe 60, I don't know what age they have, what age bracket they have, where I've been exposed to some type of chemicals from the military, where I've gotten cancer. Guess what? I'm shit out of luck. I'm like, well, you're in your 60s. Guess what? We're just going to go and try to treat you through the VA. Hope you make it. We're going to give you enough pills and whatever. Let's see what we can give. We can give you a shot. So basically, I win the lottery to be sent somewhere else. To have better health resources, because I was in a certain age bracket that they felt like I was guaranteed to live. Now, the other thing is, once I went through that the first treatment of cancer, which it got my cancer to remission, but they were still in my bone marrow biopsy. It still showed that I still had that DNA inside of me. It went dormant, and the cancer was in remission, but I still had that DNA inside of me. It's just like, this could come back 10, 14 years back, but it's going to
it's like those cancer cells.
They say come back vengeance. And I want to give you a name. You guys can look him up right now on social media, on Google, internet. His name is Tommy Tucker. Tommy Tucker, I served with him. He died from the same thing I got. He was exposed to the same thing I got. But this is before, everybody knew about burn pit. But he was with me, my platoon, doing our service. And if you watch him, he came out in Men's Health magazine, man. This dude was like, bro, Tommy was top shape, man. He died 5 years ago. Okay, he was a embassy Marine. And what happened with him? He got his cancer to in remission, but he never got a bone marrow transplant. So in like 3, 4, 5 months, the cancer came back with a vengeance, and he died. Like by December, I mean, he passed away. And good dude, Tommy Tucker, man, look him up. U.S. Marine, died of cancer. Google him. So, anyways, once I got my cancer remission, now the VA has to approve my bone marrow transplant for Moffitt. So I have to get tested through the VA, pulmonary test, dental test, like all kinds of psychological tests. I mean, they actually had to speak to a psychiatrist, for 3 hours. My daughter had to speak to a psychiatrist, okay? All of these tests I had to pass for the VA to approve my bone marrow transplant, okay? Once the bone marrow transplant was approved, okay, or the application was made, it was sent out to Nashville, Tennessee, and they had to wait a month or 2 months. So during that period, I was still getting chemo. Every other week, I was still getting chemo. I was traveling to Tampa. I had to stay in a hotel. They would give me chemo at 6 o'clock in the morning and then 4 o'clock in the afternoon again. It was just like real draining time. And waiting for, the whole anxiety, waiting for a result, because she's like, well, we don't know. Like, well, I'm like, what is the percentage of being approved? She's like, well, we don't know. That's up to them. Like, nobody could tell me like how positive, would it be for me to get approved. But it took some time. It took about 6 weeks to 2 months. And eventually it got approved. And now they sent it to Moffitt, bone marrow transplant team. They contacted me. I had to go through all the tests again. I had to go through pulmonary tests, dental tests, freaking psychiatric. I had to meet a psychiatrist again. And if they said that I was not, like mentally ready, mentally stable person, to have this bone marrow transplant, they just deny it. They just say, well, you can't have it. Isn't that
I'm sorry, you're a little bit frustrated because you got cancer, so we won't give you chemo, bone marrow transplant. Yeah. That makes no sense.
But you passed, obviously.
Yeah, I
so they have some low standards. Then that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm just messing with
they do have low. Either they do have low standards, or I know the system, right? Because they ask you how to play it. When they ask you, are you feeling depressed? You can't tell them.
Well, I'm just saying they haven't seen your social media, obviously.
Right, of course, but
a stable character.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell them any of that. But I was definitely not gonna tell them any of that, at all. That would have definitely put and no, what I'm saying?
Because we've all seen Tank's rants on his social media. So I mean,
no,
I'm glad they didn't check that.
Yeah. So every time I go to the Moffitt Hospital, they say, how do you feel? How do you feel? Yeah. What's your mental state? And I'm like,
10 out of 10. Let's do this.
Fucking cancer. What the fuck are you waiting on? What do you want me to tell you? I'm like, great, happy.
I'm about to punch you in the face. How about that mental state?
But every time they ask you that question, like, gotcha. So,
and it's always every time you show up, do you feel like killing yourself?
Yeah.
No, I'm here to live.
Right.
Yeah, if I wanted to die, I wouldn't be at the hospital.
Right.
I mean, or maybe it's when you go to the VA because you're not going to make it.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, my regular doc I go to, I have to fill out one of those things every time. But I mean, I get it. They're just trying to gauge you so they know how to interact with you. But and I go to a human performance doctor too, so it's not like an average doctor.
Yeah.
And they still ask that question. So I can only imagine just going to a regular hospital and always being asked that. Silly, those questions.
One of the things that I want to point out is that
because before I forget, okay, I just want to, JB, thank you so much for making that video. I can't think.
Which one?
The video you made. You were the first one to create a video on my behalf to share
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
experience, and that kind of started kind of like a sequence of events, and other people caught on to it and they started doing the same thing, and that helped immensely on raising funds for my behalf. So I mean, you're the one who started it all, man. I can't.
That's what friends do, man, and that costs
Now-
nothing, man. It's just using your platform.
Exactly, man.
JP is like the most famous Puerto Rican underneath Tank. So I mean,
He's Cuban, bro.
Hey, Puerto Rico. Hey, I send it to you later, but Puerto Ricans and Cubans have a lot in common, bro.
Yeah.
More,
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know.
you're right.
Oh, I know government. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying JP has like a huge following, but Tank's like right here.
Oh no, yeah. No, but you know what? It's like that's what I tell people. It's like social media, right? You using social media to do good is free.
Yeah.
It's like if you can help a friend by making a post, liking a page,
And
that
the
don't
thing
take
is,
nothing.
anything can go viral in an instant. So.
Yeah.
It's so, in the veteran community, man, and that's so important, JP, that you say that. Is that just that little thing, man, creates a viral effect, and the veteran community still works. We got so many of us who are influencers, who have a following. Even if you got 500, even if you got 1,000 people in your following, man, you share that content, you share that support, man, and we can actually save somebody's life. You know what I mean? Like in that general, because I look at that. That's how important it was for me to receive that kind of help, because if not, I would have been stuck in a hotel. I'm telling you right now, my experience, I have not gotten an infection. I've been blessed, bro. I've been the most healthiest patient surviving bone marrow transplant and going through this treatment than anybody else you probably know. And the Moffitt Hospital told me, like, I'm like 1 in a million. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hope we keep it that way.
And I mean, I'll say it. It's just, I mean, we all know this. No matter what branch you served in, whether it be Marine Corps or Army, once you retire or get out, no one gives a shit. They don't give a shit about you anymore. Since getting out, and I didn't really get on Instagram until the year I dropped my retirement packet. But the amount of community support of retired military, whether you're starting a business or a movement or a nonprofit, it's insane. So I mean, I totally get it that the veteran community definitely helps push the noise, push the the information, especially you're not in it anymore. So I mean, because the government doesn't really. I mean, it's not as black and white, but just blatantly say they don't really care about you more because you're not part of the books anymore. You're not on the rolls.
Yep.
So I mean, it's really us out here spreading the word that makes it happen.
We can do more for each other. We're a powerhouse when we come together as veterans. If we only knew how much power we had as a veteran, if we put our differences aside, politics, whatever bullshit all aside, man. We're all veterans. We're all dealing with the same monsters, the same demons, man. We're on the same foxhole. Let's just all work together. Let's help one another. Let's build one another. Let's make everybody successful. Let's just keep pushing each other the best we can. Let's put our politics and say, yeah, you have your opinion. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But guess what? We're brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're in a firefight, I got your back, right? That's the idea, right? I mean, most of my guys in my I didn't like, but guess what? If we were in some shit, like I had their back, man, I would have given my life for them. That's exactly how it should be.
But like I said, it's a different animal once you're out. Yeah. And you still gotta. It's like two different groups of families or support. You got when you're active duty. You got all the support mechanism. Once you get out, it's different, and it's really relying on each other for information or support, whether it be resources or whatever. So, I mean, I totally get it.
Exactly. So anyway,
so
I got to prove.
I'm sorry, Tank. I just want to say this real quick. For everybody listening out there, I just want to remind everyone, Tank's story might differ from your story, right? So if you experience something different with the VA, that's your story, right? He's telling his. He's telling what happened to him, and he's telling his way. Maybe your story is a happy story from the VA, and that's fine.
Hopefully.
But what we're trying to tell everyone is like not everything is what it seems sometimes, and some people struggle more than others. And also, if you're a first-time listener and anything in this podcast offended you, we really don't care. We say what we say. We feel what we feel. We got our opinions. You got yours. If you don't like our podcast, you can just listen to another one. I probably won't listen to yours.
The best thing is, man, get to know a veteran because it's a demented sense of humor and methodology.
Our sense of humor is very dark, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Doesn't mean we hate one group of people over the other. We're very, welcoming to a lot of people, but you gotta get to know a veteran to understand. And
we make fun of everybody equally. I make fun of myself. I make fun of Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, whites.
Look at this. I don't care. I'm the only cracker on the freaking podcast right now.
Oh, that's right. There, Mr. Saltine. Hey, Tank. What else would you like to share? We're almost at the end of the podcast. What else would you like to share with the community, or any advice for anybody going through what you're going through?
I just want to say is okay. That's literally like half of my experience. But I got to tell you something. Okay, you want advice for me to tell another veteran dealing with what I'm going through? You got to be your best advocate. Nobody's come to save you. You have to speak for yourself. You have to speak for yourself no matter what. And if somebody's not listening to you, make them listen. Like, keep calling them. Like with the VA and even Moffitt Hospital, I had to deal with something this week, for example, right? The Moffitt Hospital refused to take my port out. I am sent there for a patient, but this doctor got a hair up her ass, and she decided, well, we didn't put the port in, so the VA has to take it out. They don't understand that we have an agreement. The VA has an agreement with them that if they take the port out, they get paid. But she's looking at it. She's she's one of those like
probably a liability issue is what she's looking at.
She's into masks, wearing masks, like 3-4 masks, bro. She's into like by the book type shit, and so anyway, so she's like, well, I can't do nothing for you. So I had to call the VA. The VA is like, like what weird out because like, well, why did they do it? That's why you're sent there. We're going to pay the bill. Why don't they just do it? I don't know what it is. They're asking me. I don't know. They're telling me to give you a call. So I get this, back and forth, pointing finger. I got this. I got to call that. I got to call my primary care. Boom, 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 boom. I had to call my VA psychiatrist. I had to call so many people to get them to act and just to write one order and said, we need this patient to have his port removed. That's it. That was all they needed to write. That's it.
Hey, come up to the Panhandle. I know a couple 18 Deltas. I'll probably take care of that for you.
I was myself, bro. I was just saying, But but I'm just saying that my best advice I can tell you, bro, is be your best advocate, man, and speak out, man. Even if you're in the hospital, I got treated. Sometimes I got treated, with disrespect. I got treated by, some nurses weren't so friendly, so nice. They feel like, since you were in your deathbed, they can do what the hell they want to you. They can speak to you any way they want, and you kind of like have to put your foot down and speak out. And if you have to, call the manager and have them change nurses.
And I guarantee you did that. If I know you well enough.
100%. So that's it. That's my 2 cents on that, man.
Well, Tank, we really appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's a difficult one. I know you're still going through a lot. Like the fight is not over yet, right?
No.
You still got stuff to do, and we appreciate you sharing your story. Hopefully, some people learn from this. Some people do the research, right? Go to the VA website, read about burn pit exposures. Start. Probably looking at those symptoms. Maybe some people listen to this podcast right now got symptoms and didn't even know about it. Maybe we do, and we didn't even know about it, right? So hopefully it helps a lot of people. And for politicians, I don't think any politicians listen to our crazy stuff here, but if they do, some things need to change. And so if you guys can make change on policies and fix this stuff, you need to fix it. Mike, what you got?
I was gonna joke around and say my representative is Matt Gaetz. I don't think he's worried about anything about getting on Fox News. But anyways, Yeah, like everything that's been put out and that we stressed. I mean, if you feel like anybody that's listening feels like you're not getting heard, reach out to one of us. I mean, I don't have nearly the following these two guys have, but I mean, I have an opportunity to check everybody who follows my page, or whether it be my business page or request my personal page. But I can definitely help if the cause is great enough. And trust me, I'm going to filter it, because some people are just whiners. But we can get you in the right direction. We all follow a bunch of foundations, veteran foundations, that can get you pointed in the right direction and get you some support. So, I mean, it's always great to see Tank, man. You don't understand. I'm super glad you're still here, brother. Your family, and I really appreciate you. I mean, the amount of energy you've brought every time we've been around each other is unlike anything else, man. So, I mean, I'm super glad for the powers that be that you're still here, brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I gotta say one thing, guys. Hopefully this year, because this is very important to me. Guys, if you look at how many veterans have been exposed to chemicals in our military, are being exposed to chemicals in our military, all the way from purple agent to, I'm saying, uranium, Clorox, the Camp Lejeune water, burn pits, etc., man. You couldn't fill the monument big enough for all the fatalities we have had. This is a big issue. This is a huge issue, like more important than anything. And I just don't think there's enough being done and not being said. They packed that thing that they passed, the money that they passed, all the money, is going to research. They're going to research what that chemical is doing to us, instead of helping those who are already dealing with the exposures as we speak. So anyway, you guys got to do another show, possibly, hopefully in the future. I recommend it, to talk about the actual, the actual death toll that we're dealing with right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we have lost, I don't care how many wars we have won, but in regards to fatalities, how many we have lost here in our nation, because we only count the dead. Yeah. We only count the dead when they die in war, in combat zones. We don't count the dead.
No, 100%.
After, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at those numbers, bro, it's horrific, man. It's horrific.
Honestly, my only fear right now, I mean, whatever the reasons I'm still here. I mean, it's some of you guys that know me really well know I've told stories. I shouldn't be here today, just like JP and everybody else. But that's my biggest fear, is because I got several friends that have come down with illnesses, or coming down with illnesses, have died. And the question is what for? And it's always, concerns me, like burn pits, exposures, or anything else we've been exposed to on these deployments. So, I mean, that's my biggest concern. I mean, I personally go the extra mile, and I see, like I said before, a human performance doctor every 3 months, or as often as I want. Really, I pay out of pocket. It's a nominal fee for me to try to live the best life I can now, because I'm still here. So that's my biggest fear, is that I come down with a symptom, and what caused this symptom? What is the reason for this? Because we've all been exposed from Tank, from back in the Desert Storm type era, to Operation Iraqi Freedom and OEF. So for me, that's my biggest fear, is I'm watching my friends drop like flies for symptoms. And, some of them haven't passed away, some have, some haven't, but it's like, what caused that?
Yep.
And the sad is, by the time that you get to prove to them that it was service connected, you're already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the problem. So I'm like, honestly, I'm 46, so I'm the new 36, whatever, relatively young, but that's one of my fears, is that, every time I come down with some kind of symptom, I'm always overanalyzing it, what's causing this.
Yeah.
And thankfully I got a doc that I see that helps me bring that back down.
And not only that, last thing I want to say is, not only that, it's transmitted to your children. So whatever chemical you have in your body that is going to produce whatever disease, illness, if you had a child after your service in the military, guess what? Your child might have it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of cases where veterans have children with disabilities, illnesses, etc., all coming back from the chemicals that they're exposed in the.
I've heard stories. Friends with Agent Orange is a big one right now.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I'm lucky. We started young, so before we even realized that we had a kid when I was serving. So But yeah, very good point.
Yep. All right, that's it, guys. Love you.
Hey, once again, Tank, thank you for coming to the podcast. And for everybody else out there, just remember, there's a lot of resources out there. You do your research before you start calling people. Don't get lazy. Do some research. If you cannot find the answer, then start reaching out. And if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, or anything like that, just remember, don't cash out. You're loved. You're not alone. Reach out to someone and stick around for the next episode. How about that? That's your next small victory. Stick around for the next episode of VTSR. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. And remember, don't cash out.